Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Vicky Haspels and I'm the Tarot Coach, and this is the weekly forecast, which I haven't done for a long time. So this is for week commencing June 15th, 2026, and I'm going to describe the positions as we go along so that you know what I'm talking about. So the first card I'm going to talk about is the influence card, which influences all of the cards of the week. So the card we have is the Three of Swords. Oh, sorry about that. So Three of Swords represents things like a grief or a letting out of some things that have been buried for a long time. Now, it's not always a pleasant card. It is a way to be able to express our deepest part of ourselves that has been hidden for way too long, and it needs to be expressed. And oftentimes this happens around big changes in our life. And so this card represents that grief aspect where we're finally acknowledging that something has gone and passed over or passed away or left us. It doesn't have to be death. It can be a death of a career. It can be health. So the theme of this week is going to be running through that element of grief where finally we're facing what it is that's been bothering us, and we can finally allow it to let and release from our body so that we can expand our lives and start to enjoy things again. So this for Monday, here we have the Nine of Wands. So in order to understand where that grief lies, sometimes little things have to go wrong. Sometimes we sort of have to be pushed up against the wall. And if you have a look at that Nine of Wands card, I'll just hold it up against my face, you will notice that it's got the picture of the ship being pushed up against the rocks. And so sometimes we have to be pushed up against the wall before we can actually it's like getting annoyed over the little things, but it's those little things that allow the big stuff to start expressing themselves, because there's those little frustrations that really get that ball rolling. So here we have Tuesday. Expect a lot of sensitivity on Tuesday. The Page of Cups is a card of deep sensitivity. It's like we're like an open bruise. So expect that we'll feel super sensitive about what people are saying to us, and even we might take things the wrong way even. I like that card as a very intense psychic ability card, because when we are that super sensitive, we're picking up on everyone's energy, and we sometimes don't know which is our own, and we're misinterpreting a lot of the micro expressions and macro expressions and mixing them all up and thinking that it's often directed at us. So be mindful on Tuesday to take extra care. Here we have Wednesday. We have the Star card. So Star card represents hope, of course, that beautiful looking forward. So I want to show you this card to you again. This is the story of Pandora's box. If we're talking about grief and letting go of those deep emotions that we've also been carrying around for a long time, and they're finally rising up to the surface. The Star card is perfect for Wednesday, in that whatever it is that we have been hanging on to is finally able to be let out of the bag and let go. So it's almost like whatever will be after that. Here we have Thursday, Four of Wands. It's interesting. The Four of Wands is always about our best support system. It's interesting that after all the cards and talking about that grief and letting go of those deepest moments, that oftentimes when the biggest stuff happens in our life, we get to know who our real friends are. So Thursday is the energy of knowing who really is your support system. The people that perhaps can't, and it doesn't make them bad people, but maybe they can't handle or manage what's going on around us. And so, or they might also be going through that same thing as well. And maybe you're the friend for them, but it certainly reveals to us who our best support system is for those big, tough times. So that's what Thursday represents. So here we have Friday. Queen of Cups. That's emotional regulation straight up. So Queen of Cups means that we've gathered our energy back in, that we have, the Queen is us. The Queen always, for me, represents the me aspect rather than the whole of the world aspect. And so for me, that emotional regulation, it draws back in. I can feel the energy of the Queen of Cups drawing that emotion back in. So whatever it is that expanded out of me in those other 4 days, the grief that was released, and it doesn't have to be huge. Whatever it is that's been buried has been let go. I can now gather back in and regulate my emotions again. And that's what I think that the Queen of, or I feel that the Queen of Cups represents. Here we have Saturday, Three of Wands. Have we come out swinging with this one? Three of Wands. I'm going to show you the card. Yep. Right, I'll just hold it up still. I love that card because it often looks like he's being very arrogant and just for me it represents that part of us that comes out swinging and said, right, you know what, I understood what was going on, I expressed myself, I let my grief go, I let those deepest emotions be released healthily, gathered my friends around me, gathered myself back up again, and I'm back. I'm back to face the world. And that Three of Wands is bigger and brighter than ever. We're no longer sort of held under the thumb by something that happened long ago that's been repressing us for a length of time. So here we have Sunday. We have the Five of Cups. Look at that. Five of Cups represents, again, we're talking about grief. We're talking about emotions being expressed. And the Five of Cups is also about leaving something or someone behind. So in that moment of the Three of Wands, where we are sitting in that sort of ready to come out fighting moment, we suddenly realize where that grief has been leading us. So we understand who we're going to keep close, and we understand who it is that we're ready to walk away from. Not just let go, we're going to walk away from either someone or something. And that in itself allows us to then fully express the grief, because that Three of Swords is the grief personified, exposing itself, and the Five of Cups is the grief actually expressing itself and releasing and letting go. So by the end of the week, we would have been able to express it. We might have a tear or two, or we might just take ourselves away quietly, but we're leaving something behind. It's not a happy card, but it's definitely like a healing in the right direction. So the last card is the influence card for the whole of the week. So not the influence card, the theme of the week. What is it that we really understanding about ourselves and our place in the world this week? And we have the Five of Wands, so it's another five. Five is meaning change. So to me, five is always a pivot point, because they're the middle of the minor arcana journey of the Fool. So Five of Wands recognizes where the theme of the week is that where we have been holding something, expecting it to be something huge, it's been hanging over our head for such a length of time, and we've been sort of cradling it and almost creating law around it, if you like, L-O-R-E, law around it. What it's doing is that it's exposing that huge thing that we've been hanging on to, thinking it's this big story, realizing that it's actually not, and that we have what we need in order to move it on and to break it down to the smaller pieces and to be able to chase it away. So it's a big week. If you're feeling like that, you're going through some stuff, really just take heart that you're not really like falling into a pit. What you're doing is that whatever's buried deep, and we don't have to know the why of it all, but whatever's buried deep is allowed to come up with grace, with certainty and readiness, so that we can go through the steps to be able to express it and let it go, and then release it like through tears at the end of the week, so that we can understand that what we thought to be a big thing that was ruling our lives actually wasn't. So we get to see it in reality, and we are able then to break it down in more manageable or bite-sized pieces. So that's the weekly forecast for week commencing June 15th, 2026. My name is Dr. Vicky Haspels, and I'm the Tarot Coach. If you're looking for any readings, healings, or coaching, please look me up on vickyhaspels.com. Much love from me. See you next week. Bye.